to-go bag. All right, moving on. Okay, I have an emergency tent. This is a actual full tent that I'm able to use in case if I have to stay out at night. Most of the time I can just sleep on the ground, but if in inclement weather, I have an emergency tent. Again, you can get all this stuff on Amazon or your local hardware store. This is just a little leather, or not leather bag, but a cloth bag that I purchased that I put my toiletries in. So I have a little toothbrush in there. I got some deodorant. I have some soap, Q-tips, just some hygiene stuff. That's all you need. You're probably not going to be too concerned about hygiene when you're going through there, but hygiene's always still very important. Depends on how long you're going to be out in, quote, the woods or the wilderness or the countryside. All right. Of course, everybody probably recognizes this, an MRE. So since I'm figuring just a 72-hour bag, all I put in here was one MRE because anybody can go on. You can do without food for quite some time. But to also make things comfortable, I put one MRE in. This is at least 3,000 calories. That'll keep me going. The one thing you cannot do without is water. So you'll always want to make sure, starting out, that you have water. Why do I say that's all you starting out? Because one of the things I highly recommend is a Sawyer filtering system. Here where I'm at in Oklahoma, there's plenty of farm ponds. There's plenty of stock tanks. You're going to find all kinds of stuff from water, old creeks. And the Sawyer system with the straw and the filter system, you're able to just go and get water about anywhere that you want to go. So I'm not too worried about, in my area, with water. Now, if I was in the desert climate, you'd have to just kind of check your own area with what you have. So a Sawyer water system. Went over the MRE. Now you'll see I have some batteries here. And batteries are heavy. They just add weight. But the reason I have batteries is because I have some flashlight, I have a headlamp, and I have an all-purpose weather radio that takes these batteries. Well, actually, this radio can also be used by solar and also has a crank, and it takes batteries. But an emergency radio, if everything's gone to crap around you, hopefully you'll be able to catch up on some weather and or emergency broadcast that comes across this. So batteries, that's the reason I have that. Zip ties, these are all just kind of common sense items, everybody, that you can use to help yourself survive. I have a roll of plastic. Why do I have a roll of plastic? I have some 4 mil plastic here I rolled up. This is my ground cover to be able to sleep on. I highly recommend. The other thing you can use your garbage bags for is you can use them for ground cover too. If you don't have any kind of ground cover and you lay down on the ground, even in the summer, that coldness will seep up out of the soil and it'll make your muscles sore. You just won't get a very good night's sleep at all. The other thing I want to suggest is this is a metal scoop. Instead of carrying an E-tool, which is very heavy, I went with a aluminum scoop. So if I have to go do my business, and then you always want to dig a hole, do your business, and bury it. You also want to make sure that you don't leave any signs of where you're at. You always want to clean up around yourself, and not, if somebody's out looking for you, then you, in a bad way, is what I meant, you want to leave as little sign as possible. If you're going to be having a campfire at night, obviously you're going to need firewood. Now, I didn't have an axe here or a hatchet. All I have is just a thumb saw. That's all you need, because your fires are going to be kind of small and you can cut some dead branches with just a thumb saw, and or obviously the main thing you want to have is a good knife. You can make feather sticks out of it. You could use this for your flint and steel strikers, various items that you need your knife for. It's an all-around purpose tool. So that's basically all you need to start your campfire. I put in one Ziploc bag just in case I need to, if I have a wash rag or a rag that I used out of my shave kit or out of my toiletry bag and it's still wet, I don't want to stick it in my pack and get everything else wet. So I put in a Ziploc bag to keep that from happening. This is not essential, but it's essential to me. These are wet wipes because I don't like using leaves and grass out in the woods if I have to go to the bathroom. The other thing is that if you're not able to clean up or you have no kind of water source, wet wipes work great to be able to at least give yourself a sponge bath with wet wipes. Good hygiene right here. I already went over about the flashlights, a good durable flashlight, and then also a headlamp. If you're moving at night, you can go see through the darkness. In my case, I have to have reading glasses. Maybe you don't, but if you do, don't forget your glasses. A good Leatherman tool is always good to have because if you have to come through fences or if you have to cut your way out of something or using this just to untie knots or help whenever you're setting up your camp. A good Leatherman tool is essential to have, an all-purpose tool. Now, probably one of the most important things, and this is a whole different course that I teach people, is how to read maps. Everybody today, all they use, well, let's say the younger generation, all they use is Google Maps. What happens if we have an EMP? Or something happens to our satellites and you don't have your phone and you don't have any way to communicate, but you have to find your way home. So wherever state you live in, you can go to any visitor center and they will have state maps of your state. Go to a visitor center and it will show you all the roads and everything that is in your state. Get a map so you know where you're at. The other thing is compass. I have since I was prior military, and I actually taught this in the military too, land nav, and being able to know and how to use a compass, how to be able to look at the stars, find out what your exact location is, using a compass and a map, knowing your declinations, your latitudes and longitudes. It's a whole different class, but it's something that you need to know. I have taught my children on how to do this, and they could find their way all the way across the state of Oklahoma just using a compass, and actually just using a compass. And a map would just make it a whole lot easier. And also going by the stars, know your directions, north, south, east, and west. Very paramount if you're in a situation. You need to know how to get home, where you're at, and which way to go. You don't want to be lost. So a compass is very, very important, and knowing how to use that compass is very important. And then you want to have a pen and a piece of paper or a little pad of paper. The reason being on this is that if you know that somebody's coming to look for you, you can leave notes and say, I went this way, looking for you in a good way. You could always leave notes on the fences or trees or something along that line, or wherever you may be, or if you have to write something down that you hear on your radio. Always have a working pen or pencil and a piece of paper that you can do that. Hey, one thing that I heard, this is actually a pretty good idea. I didn't think of this. I heard somebody else say it. But in case of a situation where you're broke down or not, and your phone is working, but you have no way to charge your phone, is that if your phone goes dead, somebody calls your phone. Even if it's dead, it'll go to voicemail. So what you do in an emergency situation is that you change your voicemail and say, hey, this is Bud. I'm at Road Longfellow and Martin Luther King on County Road 880. My phone is about to go dead. This is my last location. I am going to be heading north by northeast on a, let's just say a 354-degree angle. We're just making stuff up, everybody. But that's how you use your compass. You would want to leave that on your phone. One of the things that I've taught my family is that if that does happen, you get out, look where you're at. If you know your location, tell your location, leave it on the voicemail. If not, you just say, I'm this far, 8 miles from town, north of town, and I'm 3 miles back to the west or to the east, whatever it may be. And then I'm going to be heading in a northerly direction. That gives a search party at least a parameter to try to find you in case your phone goes dead and you're not able to get a hold of anybody. So that was a pretty good tip. I don't know who said that, but I thought that was great. The other thing is, along with the compass and land nav, is I teach people how to make a pace card, a pace count, so you know exactly how many miles you go or how many meters or yards. We use yards here, or meters or yards of how to find. And well, that's just a whole nother lesson. If you guys want me to kind of teach a quick, not really quick, a lesson on how to do land nav using a compass, your pace counts, and a map, let me know in the comment section and I can make one of those. But right now we're just going through, this is an emergency bag and what you need to have in your vehicle. So that pretty much covers that. Oh, the other thing I have that I was able to put in there, you can get rather cheap, is that these are galoshes. You can see real thin, like rubber booties. In case I have my boots on, they're not waterproof and it's raining or snowy or icy, I can slip these on over my shoes so my feet don't get all wet, because it's miserable having wet feet. The last kind of couple things we're going to go over, I already went over about the emergency radio, and I have a couple of carabiners that I threw in there. They're real lightweight. These are aluminum carabiners. You can pick these up at Lowe's, about any store, camping store, academy, whatever it may be. This just helps with your camping and or whenever you're staying overnight, if you have, and with your paracord, making your tent camp. Probably the very last thing is you want to have some money, disposable money on you. And what I have here is just a roll of $1 bills. You don't want big money, just get a $1 bills. I have $20 here in $1 bills. That's all I have and need, in case you just never know. You may be able to use it to go and buy something or use something, but don't take large dollar amounts. So I kind of went through that real quick because I want to try to get it all in this one video. But if there's anything that you have questions about, let me know down in the comments section. And if you like these kind of videos, besides just my side hustles, talking about, hey, emergency, let's get prepared and not scared, then let me know and I'll make some more of these. If you want me to do a land nav, a map, how to read a compass and go over that, I can also do that and we can talk about survival courses. We could talk about self-defense courses. We could go through a myriad of what to do in case the grid goes down. So this is Bud Light. Thank you for watching, and I'm out of here. God bless, everybody.